Hey, good afternoon, family. How's everybody doing? Yeah, well, today is June 19th, 2022, and I actually wanted to share something with you that my Sifu shared with me. And to be honest with you, I've been negligent in regards to sharing it with others. And I feel like it's very important that this information be shared because it has a lot to do with the relationships that we cultivate with students and with fellow practitioners, with our brothers and sisters in the arts. And it's known as what we call WuDe. It's WuDe. And I have some papers here that was passed on to me from Seafood, from Master Ron. So what I plan to do is actually read over this, and hopefully we're able to cultivate deeper, longer lasting relationships and possibly avoid ending some relationships because of the lack of understanding and the lack of communication. Oftentimes I feel as if some of the relationships that we have in our martial arts or in our Tai Chi world, sometimes they come to an end simply because there was some type of miscommunication between the teacher and the student. And I feel like we can avoid a lot of that if we're clear and upfront with what our expectations are. And it's already written, and it's called WuDe. That's WuDe. And like I said, I'm going to be reading this to you. So here it is. It says WuDe, a message to new students from Sifu Ron. He says, what is Tai Chi code? The code, simply put, is the directives that we follow to preserve the Tai Chi, to preserve the art for future generations. Collectively, these rules, and he put rules in quotation marks, or customs, are known as WuDe. The character WU is the same as in Wushu, meaning martial or warrior. The character De, De, means virtue. So martial virtue. He says, to follow the way or do what is instinctively correct. Respect is the key word in preserving the Tai Chi. Without respect, the true martial art and without respect, the true martial arts and their traditions would have faded away centuries ago, leaving nothing but fighting and pugilism in their wake. He says, I have had many teachers in my life. Among them were masters from different walks of life. My last and greatest teacher of taijiquan is Master Wei-san Liao, whom I strive to emulate. It is he who I use as my guide to properly follow traditions and ethics. What you read in this small document on WuDe is simply my passing on the expectations and traditions of Master himself. I believe in and live my life according to these traditions, and I expect you to follow in the same footsteps as the great masters before us. Of course, this list of WuDe is incomplete, for an entire text could be written on the subject. This is just a couple of pages, family. He goes on to say, however, the main concepts are expressed, and any others must come from deep within you as you cultivate yourself through your Tai Chi training. Always strive to do the right thing. When in doubt, ask your teacher. If your teacher is unavailable, then ask yourself, what would Master Liao, who lives a life of pure and righteousness, do in such a situation? He says, train hard and may each day of your training bring you closer to enlightenment. Always address your teacher as Sifu, coach, not by name. Senior students who instruct classes should be addressed by name or as older brother, older sister. That was the introductory, just getting into it, all right? So now here we go, family. Etiquette. Number 1, he says, always bow when you see your teacher. Now, Sifu didn't really live by that. He was actually a little embarrassed if you would come out and give him a full bow. A little head shake, a little nod, a little way of showing appreciation or respect to each other, similar to a handshake, was always efficient for Sifu. He says the hand signal is generally enough. So our code is just this. Just that is enough. You don't need to go around bowing down like you have some great figure in front of you, a god or something, Please don't do that to me. I'll be very embarrassed. He says, however, if you use a formal bow, sometimes formal bows are actually practiced depending on the situation, the circumstances. He says, you must bow lower than your teacher. You must bow lower than your teacher. And pay attention to this. Your eyes should always face downward as a sign of trust for your teacher. So in some traditions, they don't believe in bowing down and looking down. And we don't either. This is only done between teacher and student, this type of bow. You never bow down looking at the ground and just putting your head there with some stranger, okay? So remember, this is teacher and student, or brother and sister, not some stranger on the street. He says, never forget your teacher's birthday. I still never forget Sifu's birthday. Hey, we got YouTube. Well, we got Facebook now to help us as a reminder, right? Mark it on your phone. Never forget your teacher's birthday. Mine's January 4th. Or special holidays such as Chinese New Year. He says a red envelope is usually given containing money. Check this out, family. So here we go right here. I keep a ton of these red envelopes sitting on the altar. These are the red envelopes right here. Right? Even in my family here at home, we exchange red envelopes amongst each other. It's just a tradition. It doesn't matter how much you put in there. It could be $1. It doesn't matter. It's coming from your heart. You see, when you give money, people don't understand. Money is energy, right? Energy in motion. You don't just want to hold on. You want to give, because when you give, you receive. These are the laws of nature. It's simple practice. Sifu says to us, he says that most people are takers and not givers, and I found that to be very true. But you know what? I happen to be a giver long before I even knew who Sifu was. I've always been a giver, naturally born giver, and I've always received and always lived in abundance. People give me stuff all the time. Money shows up at my doorstep. It just does. And I always give it away. And it keeps coming. I don't hoard. I don't hold on to it. It needs to move. It's energy. But let me move on before I get off track. He says a red envelope is usually given containing money. Usually a gift is not given, since it may be a gift that the teacher has no use for. Now let me ask you this. How many gifts have you received and you have absolutely no use for it, and they just sit around? It's a waste, right? So don't just go buy gifts, giving random gifts. You're taking a chance of just giving someone something that's really just basically like trash. It's just sitting around, right? He goes on here and says, money is the hardest thing to give up. Wouldn't you agree? Money is the hardest thing to give up. and is the most useful. I agree with that. So a money gift is always best. The amount depends on your means to give. I'll repeat that. The amount depends on your means to give. I've given Sifu money before, family, and he's giving it back. He just give it right back to me. Came to a point where he no longer accepted my tuition. He didn't want it because it wasn't about the money. Here we are. Always wear the proper uniform and be sure that it is clean and pressed. I'll repeat that. Always wear the proper uniform and be sure that it's clean and also that it is pressed. Don't come to class looking like a mess, and don't come to class with poor hygiene. Some people don't believe in wearing odorants or antiperspirants or using soaps. That's fine if that's your belief, but everybody in the class shouldn't have to suffer because you have a smelly body. All right? So make sure that you consider others and make sure that you look proper and that you represent your teacher. Look nice, family. We want to shine. We want to be attractive. Here it is, number 4. He says, always bow when entering or leaving the training area. Always bow. Always give a salute when entering and leaving the training area. No matter where you are. It could be in a park. Always bow. The bow does so much. If you don't understand the bow, you should learn more about the bow and why we bow. It's not just a matter of showing respect to your teacher, but it's also acknowledging the space that you're occupying, giving thanks for that, giving thanks to the universe, first of all, for providing that space for you, right? We got to be more giving, more thankful for what we have. Be thankful for the little things, and you'll be surprised, or maybe you won't be surprised. Number 6 says, always pay proper respects to the highest levels in your Quorum by calling them the proper title. Always. Don't you dare call Master Liao by his first name. Don't do it. You will be dismissed. And you should expect to be dismissed because it's just simply not tolerated. Number 7 says, always pay your dues on time. Here's a big one right here. Always pay your dues on time. And you can pay them early. Be considerate. You don't want to get paid late. Sifu doesn't want to get paid late. He may not even say anything. If you pay him late, he's going to keep teaching you. Oh, yeah. But we have to know that we're cultivating habits. If you're paying Sifu late, you're going to do other things late. It's about being responsible. That's all it is. It's a matter of being responsible, family. He says, here it is, to be late is like saying, I'll pay you when I can. Traditional teachers collect money to maintain the Quorum, to pay for expenses. Who's going to pay for it? You expect Sifu to pay for it. Come on, family. Don't make sense. It don't make sense. Everybody pays for it. He says, so when you don't pay, the teacher must front the money for the Quorum to pay expenses. I hear some of my Kung Fu brothers right now. Massive overhead, $5,000-$6,000 a month for big schools. Now, can you imagine them having to front that money because students aren't paying tuition? It happens. It happens. It's just not right. But maybe they don't know about the proper etiquette. So that's my reason for spreading this word. And I hope that you share this video, family. He says, if a problem arises, it is always best to let your teacher know why you failed to live up to your responsibilities. Don't just take it for granted that everything is fine. Let Sifu know. Communicate, family. Communication is the number one thing that causes problems in relationships, or the lack of communication. People don't know how to communicate. People don't know how to listen. A lot of people don't know how to talk and express themselves. Got to talk to Sifu. Sifu is like father. He's your teacher. He's your brother. You should be able to talk to Sifu. If you want to bring a guest to the Quorum, you should always ask your teacher first. Don't show up with a surprise visitor. Because first of all, I have a specific set of curriculum that I want to cover. If you show up with a visitor, this information that we're sharing, the visitor may not be ready for that yet. You get what I'm saying? So let Sifu know so that he can make sure that he's prepared to take care of whatever student comes into the school. It's pretty simple, family. Etiquette. Do the right thing. Here's number 9. He says, always keep your Quorum clean. It's your space. You should respect your space and always keep it clean. You see something, pick it up. Simple. He says your teacher should not have to tell you to do this. Some students, they're running around cleaning the floor, whatever. They just jump right on it, emptying the trash, They go right at it. He says keep talk to a minimum while in the Quorum. This is a big one. A lot of students, I'll say probably a large majority of students, are coming into the Quorum, and this is fine. They're looking for a social space. They want to socialize, right? But remember what we're doing, family. We're doing Tai Chi. We're doing meditative flow. We have to have a certain type of environment. If we're in there chit-chatting and communicating about things that are going on in society that don't relate to what we're doing, there's distractions. There are distractions to us. There's distractions to the energy flow, right? So we're really doing our brothers and sisters an injustice by bringing up such conversations. It's best to leave those things outside of the Quorum. Take your friend's phone number. You guys can talk about that stuff in your personal time. Teaching time, Quorum time, is relatively short. I like to take advantage of that and maximize our time together and get more out of it and discuss those things. If we're talking about that stuff, I'm happy. Let's talk. And then still yet, we want to do more training and talking. All right? So he says, keep the talking to a minimum. It's a place of reflection and training, and certainly not gossip. A place of reflection and training, and certainly not gossip. Number 11 here. We're almost about halfway, and it keeps getting better. He says the higher level students are always responsible for the novice students. So the higher level always responsible for the novice. He says a novice must always have a guide so he or she learns what is expected. So I was discouraged a little bit, maybe about a week ago. One of my senior students, I rung the bell. The bell means that we're getting ready to start class. Senior student is talking, having personal conversation with another novice or junior level student. What kind of example are we setting? I was a little discouraged, but you know what I did? I let them finish, and I had a talk with the student, because that way we can have a clear communication line. That's all. A little communication. Number 12, if you see that your teacher needs assistance with something, you should always ask if you can be of any help. I mean, that's simple, man. I would go and even help Sifu do house chores, painting, fix cars, whatever it is. If I can help, I want to help, because I want Sifu to invest his time into the art and not into these other little tedious things. I'm always willing to help, whatever I can do. Number 13 says, if you ask to demonstrate your skills, now this is a big one now. If you're asked to demonstrate your skills, you must show them correctly, or you will cause your teacher to lose face. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be afraid if Sifu asks you to do something, even if you're a novice. It's known that you're a novice and that you're going to show your skills on a novice level. That's fine. Be a novice and show where you're at. Sifu's asking you for a reason. He says, always be ready to show what you have learned. And if you're practicing every day, 20 minutes per day, or even 3 days out of the strong, 3 days. We don't do weeks, so I said strong, right? If you're doing 3 days out of your strong, 20 minutes per day, you're going to start cultivating some skills, for sure. Now, every day, you're going to cultivate a little more. That's just common sense. We know that, right? The more we put in, the more we get out. I'm not saying you should be practicing 8 hours per day. I understand that we live in a society that requires us to do more than just practice, right? Let's move on. Never, now here's a big one. Here's a big one. Never miss classes. You heard that one, family? Never, ever miss classes. Bear with me one moment. Now, when you miss classes, that's like you have momentum, right? So you have a certain amount of momentum taking place. And the moment that you miss one class, let's say missing 1 day of practice is like taking you back 10 days or more by missing just 1 day. So do your best not to miss. Now, emergencies always are going to show up. We all have those unexpected events, right? But sometimes, I'll tell you what, even myself, I may feel like I don't feel like getting up and practicing. That's just being human. We're all human. But those days that you don't feel like getting up practicing, this is from my personal experience. And I got up and actually went and practiced anyway, turned out to be my best practices, breakthroughs. Yeah, just show up, family. That's a common thing that's being said in our world. Just show up. Even if you just show up and just don't participate and you're just an observer, just show up. You're going to get something. You're going to get something. Don't miss class. He says, if you must, a call is required. Can you give Sifu a call and tell him that you're not coming? You see, a lot of people don't understand. Being a teacher, I know I am. I'm always thinking about my students. Students, not my students. I don't like to claim students because we're all students of the Tao, right? I can't take that responsibility of anybody being mine. I don't have any ownership of anybody. But being students and being teachers, once you become a teacher and you start thinking about the student, every student is different, family. So I'm thinking about what I can do to impact this specific student in a specific way. If you don't show up, I just wasted my thoughts. I just wasted that energy. That energy just got thrown away. I mean, where's the respect? Can I at least get a phone call? Yes. We must agree. A phone call is simple. Just call them up. A text message will do. If you must miss, a call is required so your teacher knows the reason. Missing classes should be something that is seldom, if it ever happens at all. I'll tell you what. Well, I can't even remember the amount of times I missed class. I was the first to be there, last to leave. Better believe it. He says, you must plan your life around your training. A lot of people don't get that. I say Tai Chi first. I live by that. And everything else comes around Tai Chi. And Tai Chi will start giving you the life that you want if you do it that way. Guaranteed you. If you start treating Tai Chi like just secondhand, whatever, it doesn't really matter. That's what it's going to be. Secondhand, it really doesn't matter. He says, you must plan your life around your training and not the other way around. Number 15, no matter what your level is, even if you are a teacher level running a Quorum elsewhere, Dojo, Quorum, you should always visit or call your teacher and pay respects to stay in good standing. if you're going to be in town, you're an out of town student, you should certainly stop by and say hi to Seafood. Come on, it's a family here we're cultivating. Next one says the teacher should never have to pay for anything while in company of the students. The teacher should never have to pay for anything while in company of the students. Now, I'll tell you what, family, I may be guilty of this because I really don't give students the chance to pay for stuff when we're together. It's just me. I like to do that. But you should at least offer. You should at least offer, right? And I guess I picked that up from my teacher. Sifu always paid. He would pay before we even knew he paid. He was sneaking pay. He made a game out of it. You go to pay for the tab, he already taken care of it. And I'm like, Sifu, come on, man. And then I play the game and I slip something back in his pocket. His family, we love each other. Number 17, if an encounter should ever arise, he's talking about like an altercation outside of the Quorum. If an encounter should ever arise, the student must always step in to defend his teacher's honor. You better believe it. But you have to use proper judgment. Make sure, right? He says, you should honor your teacher as you would your own father or mother. I know I do. Never ask to learn more. Let me repeat that. Never ask to learn more. Doesn't that make sense? Probably not, because sometimes students think that they're ready for more information. They will ask. I never would ask because I knew better. And now I hope that you know better also. Don't ask for more information. You'll get it when the time is right. Just one move is more than enough. Work that one move over and over again. Keep working on it. And Sifu will give you more when you're ready. He says, never ask to learn more. That is a sign that you think you already know the move. He says, that is for your teacher to decide, not you. You're here to learn. You don't know it yet. Number 19 says, when you are not sure of proper WuDe, remember WuDe, right? Martial virtue, respect. Always check with a higher level student first. So there's protocols and procedures, right? So if you're a junior level student and you're not sure of something, don't go running to Master Liao. You're out of order. There's protocols and procedure. So you go to the student that's above you, higher level student. And if that student can't answer, that student will go up the chain of command. It's a proper way to handle business. Now, if it's something that you feel like you definitely need to talk to the highest level person in the school, you go there and do that. For sure. But let's use proper judgment and make sure we're doing things right. He says, when you're not sure of proper WuDe, always check with the higher level student first and find the answer for your question before you make a mistake. Yeah, don't make any mistakes, family. When you make a mistake, you lose face in the eyes of your teacher. Here you go. Number 20. Never speak of other arts. Oh, my goodness. Why would you do that? We're here to learn Tai Chi, and you're talking about hokey pokey? You're talking about what? Huh? I can't even hear you. We're talking about Tai Chi. Keep it as Tai Chi. Never speak of other art forms or teachers. Or teachers. I don't want to hear about Master So-and-so's way of doing something. I mean, we're talking about being respectful, right? He says this is an indirect insult to your teacher, and I must agree. You have chosen your teacher to be your teacher. And as far as you are concerned, your teacher is the best, or you wouldn't be there. Right? You can always go find another teacher. He says, you have chosen your teacher to be your teacher. As far as you are concerned, your teacher is the best. The only one who can speak of other teachers or styles is, guess who? You got it. Your teacher. That's it. Number 21, he's talking about fighting. He says, fighting is never allowed inside of the dojo, Quorum, school, unless the teacher gives the okay. You don't be fighting inside the school, family. Now, Sifu sets up a sparring match with another student. That's cool. That's fine. But you don't take it upon yourself to hit anybody or to start any type of fighting. It's not that. He says the teacher is the only one who can determine if you are ready or not. What are you doing fighting? Stop. 22. When in a Tai Chi class, never practice any other form other than Tai Chi. Why are you practicing grappling in here? What are you doing? This is not a karate class. We don't do judo. Huh? This is not a Shaolin school. No long fists. You get what I'm saying? Don't come in there practicing and comparing techniques that you picked up at another school. It's simply not a matter. It's simply no respect involved in that at all. So here we go. The highest level student should always announce the beginning of a formal class. Always. So what Sifu would do, he would have the higher level student go and ring the gong 3 times. And when he heard the gong, he would come walking into the dojo, and all of the students would already be inside of a circle, standing in ready position, ready for Sifu to come in and for us to bow in and begin the session. So the higher level student would take on that responsibility. Protocols and procedures, family. We're talking about building and cultivating lifelong relationships inside of our Tai Chi school. This information is what I think a lot of people have been missing. The old traditional way of doing things. A lot of students go away. A lot of relationships end too soon because of improper or the lack of communication. Here it is right here. Please share this video. The next one says the highest level student should always call for a bow to the teacher after students are lined up. We didn't do lines, we did circles, and ready to start class. When the teacher writes on the blackboard, I use a whiteboard, dry erase, the student should always erase the board when the teacher is done. So when Sifu leaves the board, he's done with that. Make sure you ask him. Make sure he's done before you erase something that he needs. All right? It's part of cleaning up the school. When offering tea or refreshments, the teacher should always be served first. Don't you think so? If we're having tea time, we're having Tai Chi tea table talk, and we're sipping on tea, should you be sipping on your tea before Sifu sips his? I've seen people do it. So we would fill up all the little teacups that's sitting on the table, and I would always see it's always a novice student pick up his tea and slam it down. Sifu hadn't even picked up his tea yet. What are you doing? You just didn't know. Now you know. Sifu drinks first. Sifu drinks first, man. Proper protocols and procedures, family. Here you go. If you give the teacher a gift, never expect him or her to open the gift in your presence. Are you waiting on the gift to be opened? No, not going to happen. May or may not happen. But don't expect it. You'll open it later. It's no big deal. Never speak of your teacher. Never speak for your teacher unless he or she indicates a comment for you. No, Bart, it's just proper communication. You don't jump in speaking for your teacher, right? Sifu can speak for himself. Here's another big one. If you commit yourself to a task that must be done, always have it done within the proper time requested. Your word is your bond in Tai Chi. Here's another one. Never criticize your teacher's method of teaching. If you need to criticize my method of teaching, I'll tell you what, we shouldn't even be together as friends, teacher and student, or anything else. Common sense. There's always other teachers out there, and I can actually refer you to a teacher if you think that you don't like my methods. I know plenty of teachers out there. And to be honest with you, if you criticizing my methods, you're probably going to criticize another teacher as well. So I'm not going to put my reputation on the line and send you anywhere. All right? Never teach anyone anything unless your teacher has told you to do so. Boy, do I have a story to tell about that one. I'm not going to do it, but boy, do I have a story to tell about that one. Probably multiple stories. You get people coming by, picking up a little bit of information, 5, 6 months, less than a year, even a year or two. They run out there and start teaching. They graduated too early. They don't really know anything at all. And they're making a mess of the art. Making a mess of the art. It's a disgrace. But you know what? The truth always comes out. It's just a matter of time. In the old days, I'll tell you what, there was a guy who learned with me for a short while, ran away, graduated, thought he knew something, had an agenda. My Sifu gave him a call. Sifu Ron, old school, don't play. Told the guy to make sure that he's no longer teaching under my name. Make sure of that, or that he was personally going to show up. This is how Sifu handled business. This is old school. He was going to show up at one of the lessons. I was like, wow, Sifu, you did that? He was like, yeah, man. Proper protocols and procedures. Don't teach stuff without permission, family. Always be humble. This is a sign of one who knows the truth. Always be humble, family. When you're humble, I already know you know the truth because the truth speaks for itself. You don't have to say anything. I learned that myself. So here we are at the end of this very important etiquette, WuDe, martial virtue. Please, family, share this out with some of your family. Share this out with some of your family because I was surprised that lots of people really don't know about this. Lots of people who are in the Tai Chi world weren't exposed to this. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I've actually been guilty of not sharing this myself. So here I am making a video instead of writing it down. I figured I could share it with a little bit more emotion and passion than this black and white sheet of paper. So please help me out, share this out, family. So I'll wrap it up. He says, these are but a few of WuDe ethics. These are but a few of WuDe ethics that must be followed. There are many, many more that can arise, and it is your place, my place as well, you and you and you and me, to learn them as time progresses in our training. There's a lot more. We could write books on it. But they basically boil down to respect. He says, when in doubt, always ask the next highest level student. Keeping ourselves out of trouble here, family. If he or she does not know, then ask your teacher. It's better to ask than to make a mistake, which can not be rectified later. Wouldn't you agree? Better to know than not to know, and to make a mistake that cannot be rectified later. And people lose face. And then you leave the school when you were at a great school. If communication was on point, you could have been there forever. could have continued to grow inside the family. So that's it, family. I wanted to share that with you all. WuDe, martial virtue, the etiquette, the ethics inside of the family tradition, Tai Chi. Thank you all for bearing with me here. I'm reading with one eye, so it's a little bit of a strain, but I figured it didn't matter because I wanted to share this. So peace and blessings to all of you all on this beautiful Father's Day. I say every day is Father's Day, but today is 6/19/2022. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Peace.